The new iPhone 15s have been announced and they've landed in people's hands. We're going to talk about them today. Hi all, welcome back to another Tech Connect. Today, we're going to be talking about the new iPhone 15, the iPhone 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. That's four new iPhones.
One quick question, Cory.
Yes.
What is 12 times 15?
12 times 15 is...
Just ask the iPhone! It's that clever.
It is. That's actually why they made those new iPhones, just so you could do simple multiplication. Stick around. We are going to take a look at these new four phones, find out what's new and is it even worth upgrading.
It is September, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for some new iPhones, possibly the most exciting time of the year for those Apple fans. Cory, were you excited?
Can I be honest this time?
Please do be honest.
I actually forgot that the event was going on. I don't know if it's I'm old or the phones have plateaued and I'm not as excited, but I honestly forgot the event was
Put down in the comments, is Cory old or is it just that the phones are super boring?
I know it's not a great way to start this video by saying that I missed the event, but that's okay because we have all the information you need today.
Well,
were you excited?
Oh, absolutely not. No, not at all. So, four phones were announced. iPhone 15, yes. iPhone 15 Plus, yes. iPhone 15 Pro, and let's not forget the big daddy of the bunch, iPhone 15 Pro Max, possibly the most exciting phone lineup since last year's announcements.
And all four screen sizes are the same from the 14, so there's no screen size difference. We can get that out right away.
Yeah, and actually, Cory, there's really not a lot of other differences either.
Not too many, but enough that we feel a video is warranted, so we can at least talk about it.
If you want to turn off this video right now, you probably won't miss too much.
Please like and subscribe before you do so.
Exactly. Well, let's start off, Cory, talking about the iPhone 15, regular iPhone 15, and the iPhone 15 Plus. Yeah. So I assume the main difference between these is going to be the screen size, hence the name iPhone 15 Plus. Cory, correct?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And let's talk about the rounded back glass. Cory, it just sits so much more nicely in the hand.
It does. They in the keynote, they made it sound like it was a complete redesign. I think the word complete redesign is a little overstating.
Yeah.
How about an updated design is probably a little better. My understanding, we haven't got one in just yet, but my understanding, it does feel better holding it in the hand, a little more rounded, rather than kind of sharper edges.
That seems like such a lame thing to have to point. Like, if you're pointing that out in your presentation as something new, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Well, I guess then on top of that, we can also then just quickly announce that with the new colors. That's the other thing Apple does tend to like to do.
Yeah.
That when the design isn't a big change, they'll change the colors so that people obviously know that it was an update.
This is a new phone, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to believe me. Cory, you remember the iPhone 3?
I didn't have the 3GS was the first one I ever got because that was the first one with voiceover.
So the 3GS,
yes.
If you remember, that had a very nice rounded back.
You're right, it really did. It really did.
And I have to say, it did actually feel nice in the hand.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm changing my mind on this whole thing now. I'm gonna go get iPhone 15.
I have a 3GS, I could get it for you. That'd be really interesting.
Perfect. All right, we do have the same processor in the 15 and the 15 Plus as there was in the iPhone 14 Pro. So that's kind of nice. You get the Pro level chip from the previous generation in the standard iPhone 15, so it should have good performance.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant bump from the iPhone 14 because that 14 Pro chip was pretty good.
Yeah, however, if you want to play Assassin's Creed Mirage, or if you want to play the Resident Evil 4 remake or other games such as this, well, I'm afraid that's just not going to cut it.
Either of those even supported on the iPhone?
Yeah, so that's one of the things with the processor, and I know we were going to talk about the Pro and the Pro Max a little bit later, but I'll just throw this in now. With the processor in the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, you can actually play modern video games on your iPhone.
Because of the ray tracing?
They do have ray tracing.
Do you know the story about Raymond Trace? He came up with the technology, the gaming technology of ray tracing?
Disclaimer, this may or may not be true.
All right, never mind.
Raymond Tracing, yes, a good friend of the show. So So anyway, we also do have the 48 megapixel camera from the 14 Pro. It's standard on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus.
Again, and I know this is going to sound kind of negative as we're going. I mean, both Luke and I are iPhone users and really enjoy the iPhone.
Yes.
So even though this sounds a bit negative and it's a little tongue-in-cheek, every year it's the same. It's a faster processor, a better camera.
Yes.
And so obviously faster processor and now a bump in the camera to the 48 megapixel camera.
Yes. Now, I mean, that may be on paper an improvement, but seriously, like, does anybody outside of those taking professional photographs, do they care? Does it matter?
And I think we come from this from a low vision and blindness perspective, and so my two things my mind goes to two things right away. Number one, from a low vision perspective, does it improve the magnification or magnifier app? And I can't imagine it's really gonna see much of a difference.
Probably not.
And then an OCR, is the OCR gonna be any better for blind individuals? And again, I don't know why. I mean, the camera's good enough for great OCR
Exactly.
now. So.
Like, theoretically, it could make it better, but actually, in practice, probably no difference.
Yeah, and I think you're right. From if you are a hobbyist photographer or a professional or a videographer, then absolutely you'll be excited. But I think when we talk specific low vision blindness, like apps and things, I don't see a big difference.
Agreed. Dynamic Island is now on the 15 and the 15 Plus. Cory, did you ever use the Dynamic Island?
I don't. I don't think from a voiceover standpoint it's all that useful. I can see from a low vision or sighted perspective why the Dynamic Island's kind of cool. You get to see some specific information that pops up there in the top center of the screen. It does work with voiceover. I've never taken the time to kind of touch up there and see what's going on.
Seems like one of those things that is just kind of there for the sake of having something different, but really, I mean, is it really doing anything you couldn't do before?
Yeah, I think that because of the notch that was knocked out, and then I think they added Dynamic Island. And again, I think from I think there is some cool information that is shown up there.
Yeah.
But again, yes, I don't know how useful it really is.
Yeah, from a low vision perspective, that is kind of small as well. I'm not sure how usable that would be. If anybody who's watching this video does have low vision and is using the Dynamic Island, please put it down in the comments, because we love to hear how users are using things, because that helps to educate us as well.
And whenever we make comments about nobody uses it, there's always at least a couple of people say, I use it all the time. So yeah, I'd love to. And from a voiceover perspective.
Yes, definitely, Yes, our docked magnifier being the classic example.
Yes, exactly.
Cory and I say nobody uses a docked magnifier, and then everyone's saying, we use it!
All the time, I love it.
All right, USB-C, that is a change which has been applauded. Fine, okay, USB-C is standard on Android for a long time. USB-C is a standard, connector for a lot of things these days. But USB 2 speeds, absolutely disgraceful.
In the 15 and 15 Plus,
it's just why. So USB 3 speeds only on the more expensive models.
But both of them have been upgraded to 4.5 watt charging, which is what is your most important. But if you really think about it, how often are you connecting your phone to your computer or any other device to transfer data? Because that's really that's really where it's important, is the speed of transfer. I honestly cannot tell you the last time I connected my phone to do any kind of transferring via wired connection.
Let me just put one thing out there.
Yeah,
a lot of people use their phones these days to make YouTube videos, to make TikTok videos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Videos quickly fill up the storage, right? You can buy USB-C thumb drives you could plug into the bottom of your phone.
Sure.
You know what I mean? To move videos across. So, I mean, I think there is a use case there, and it just seems so... what's the word? I don't know, tight? Is that a familiar term?
I forget what they call it, but a lot of times companies do this purposeful. Where they constrain the feature purposeful, especially when you have an upgrade model like the Pro, then they have to differentiate. And so they do it. And I think that you're right. I think that's what we're seeing.
I think it's disgraceful.
Now, a couple really cool things about USB-C. So obviously Lightning has been, doesn't matter which way you plug it in, just like USB-C. But Obviously, USB-C is a standard, so the AirPods case have now been upgraded as well to USB-C, so now you can pretty much go USB-C across all of your Apple devices. But one thing I didn't realize that the USB-C, and actually I think even the Lightning may have done this, I just never knew it, but the USB-C supports wired reverse charging. So two really quick things. First of all, if you have a iPhone that's the new USB-C and one iPhone that's the Lightning. If you plug in the cable, the USB-C cable into your USB-C iPhone, Lightning into the other one, it's gonna charge that Lightning phone.
Oh, interesting.
So you can charge like a friend's phone.
That's cool.
If you have two USB-C phones, then it does a handshake, and whichever phone has less battery is the one that'll then get charged.
Oh, neat.
So I was never aware of that. And also, one thing I learned too, I didn't know, on the back of your iPhones, you have the wireless charging. You can actually flip your phone down and put like your AirPods case on the back of your phone, and it'll charge your AirPods too.
Okay.
I never knew that. So there you go, learn something.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Yeah. So now I wonder, with the AirPods example, is that on the 14 as well?
I believe the 14 did it. Yeah,
they did it.
I just never tried it. So
very nice.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. So everybody, stop watching the video and go give that a try and see how you get on with that, and let us know. Okay, a couple more things here. Ultra Wideband 2. Now this is something which actually could be relevant to the blindness and low vision community. Cory, tell us about Ultra Wideband 2.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So this is on both the 15 and 15 Pro. So when we move over to 15 Pro, we probably won't talk about this, but the ultra wideband chip has been there. That's what the iPhone has been using for both the AirPods and then most notably the AirTags. That's, if you saw our AirTag video that we did, which should be up above one of my sides. I always forget which shoulder
it's on the right
above.
side.
Right there.
No, but on your left side.
Oh, left side. Check out that video, but you'll see that the AirTags gave you really precise directions to find your AirTag, like up to the feet and even less than a foot.
Yeah.
And so with the new Ultra Wideband 2 chip, they're extending the distance that you'll be able to locate things. And they'll also now add the ability to locate people around you. So Luke, if you and I go to CSUN next year, and we're in a big conference room together, and you're sharing your location with me, or I'm sharing my location with you, and we both have the new iPhone 15s, I can get precise directions to you in that large room.
Nice.
And from a blindness perspective, that is awesome. There's many times where I've been in a big room and I want to meet somebody and I have no idea where they are, and to be able to get precise directions right to them is really cool.
Yeah,
so
that's a great feature.
I think that'll be exciting to do, and most likely once we get some iPhone 15s in here, we'll probably do a video on it, because I think it'll be cool.
The only thing we don't know is actually how far away that works.
Yeah, I had not seen what the distance is. They they keep mentioning concerts and marketplaces and stuff, but I don't know if that just means you got to be 30 feet away from each other in a large concert. But it sounds like it's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, stay tuned for a video on that in the future. And finally, this is on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus, 15 Pro phones as well. Voice prioritization. It's really hard to say that word.
Prioritization.
Thank you.
Basically, just making your quality of the audio quality of your phone calls better, blocking out background noise and things so your voice comes in clear.
Yeah, so when Cory is shouting at me for not doing my work properly and I'm on the phone to my wife, she won't even be able to hear you shouting at me.
Correct.
Excellent. Well, that was the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. Now, Cory, let's talk about the very exciting additions to the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max.
All right, we have covered the iPhone 15 and the 15 Plus. We're gonna talk about the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, and we have just lost our co-host. He's literally sleeping. Luke, wake up. We are getting to the best part of the video.
What are we talking about again?
I am sorry that you have fallen asleep due to the exciting world of the iPhone 15s. I'm not sure that your falling asleep is I don't think they're going to use that in their next commercials. So in case Apple's watching,
Cory, I fell asleep from excitement, obviously.
I do that all the time. So 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, we've already talked about a couple really cool features that are coming to the Pro and the Pro Max, including the ultra wideband 2.
Yes.
Same camera, 48 megapixel camera. There is some added telescopic lenses.
Yes.
I believe the Pro is going to do 3 times, where the Pro Max goes up to 5 times. Again, I mean, I don't want to dive into any of the specifics of the cameras, more so because I don't really even know them. I just know, I mean, they are crazy good cameras, and they're also doing a lot of really cool things on the software side for images.
But again, okay, so one of the things I saw on the software side that I do think is awesome is you can do soft focus after the fact. So let's say you take a picture with 2 people in it, and the background is as clear as the 2 people, right? But you can press on a person, put it into the portrait mode, whatever, press on a person, it will put that person into sharp relief, and everything else will be in soft focus behind them. But then you can press on the other person to change the focus to that person instead. Cool, awesome technology.
So it's this portrait mode that everybody sort of likes, right? My understanding from a blindness perspective, it's real kind of blurred background, right?
Correct.
So the person in the foreground is really sharp, but then it's kind of blurred in the back. So my understanding is with the new, and the 15 actually is doing it too, from my understanding, is that it's collecting so much data now that it's got all of that depth of field built right in, and then you just can do it after the fact. Now, my understanding is, though, that it only works with people, cats, and dogs.
Perfect.
That's
all my pictures are of
just people, cats, and dogs. So I mean, that's kind of cool.
That kind of makes sense because those are well, actually, I guess if you like doing,
I think they can recognize those as the foreground subject, where everything else is harder to determine.
I mean, I'm thinking you might be taking pictures of flowers or like other animals, and you won't be able to do it with those. So that's a bit lame. But yeah, I mean, the rest of the camera improvement stuff, like unless you're taking professional photos, honestly, who cares? Who cares? Now, Cory.
Yes.
Titanium.
It is made out of titanium versus a stainless steel, which I believe is what the 14 Pro and Pro Max were. Titanium, lighter, stronger.
But Cory, you're missing the main part here. You're missing the main part here. No more fingerprint smudges on the side of your phone. Thank the Lord.
Because it's brushed and not glossy.
I'll tell you what, those fingerprints on the side of my phone, they were always getting me down every day.
I thought you were actually going to say something about Sia's Titanium song. Doesn't she sing that?
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
Jonathan, if you could edit in right now, a little Sia. I'm just kidding. Copyright. Yeah, lighter. I mean, that's about it.
Yes.
It's titanium.
So who cares?
Wow.
USB-C on the iPhone Pro and the iPhone Pro Max does have USB 3 speed, so for data transfer, that's good. I guess if you are using your phone for professional photography, then that's going to be a nice feature because you'll be able to get all of those photos off of there. Plus, you can also do you can use all 48 megapixels. You can shoot 4K 60 frames a second. So if you're shooting that kind of video, you actually do have to have an external hard drive connected via the USB-C port. So that kind of makes sense if you're using your phone for videography, which, to be honest, like you could literally, and people have done this, you can literally make professional films on iPhones. You know, so that's a cool feature. But how many people are doing that? You know, if you are, put it in the comments and link to your videos because that would be awesome. But yeah, again, for me, for you, you know, probably not so important. Now, Cory.
Yes.
Action button.
This one I'm actually excited about. So they're replacing the mute toggle switch with a single button. And they're calling it an action button. This actually was sort of introduced, I believe, on the Apple Watch Ultra, if I'm not mistaken. Last year's Ultra had this action button. So pressing and holding it is going to still do the mute and unmute. Now, first and foremost, I'm actually going to like this better. I know from a training standpoint, a number of clients struggle with that toggle, getting your fingertip in there, and like you said too, with a case. Yeah,
if you have a case, it can be real hard to get your fingernail in there and flip that mute switch. So yeah, this is definitely an improvement, I would say.
But then a single press of it can be programmed. So there is and it's pretty extensive what you can choose. I think from a low vision standpoint, one of the coolest things is that it can launch magnifier.
Yes.
Now I know you could set up the accessibility shortcut of the triple press of the Siri button to do it in the past.
Actually, it was already set up by standard.
Unless you changed it and did like, okay.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be you could set it up as a single press of that action button, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Hey, I wonder if you could start voiceover then with a single press of the action button.
You know, it's a good question. I haven't seen that. My understanding is one thing you can do. So there's a bunch of things you can do. You can set it up to open the camera right away for you. Cool. But one of the last options is the ability to run Siri shortcuts. And with Siri shortcuts, then you basically could set up any kind of shortcut, including probably launching voiceover.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that action button. I think it makes sense. It'll be easier to do, plus give us more functionality.
As far as I'm concerned, like this is actually something that could be useful. Like, why not make a phone that has more physical buttons that are user programmable? I mean, seriously.
Because what, Apple or just a phone in general?
Well,
because Apple's doing the reverse, right? Apple's actually removing as many buttons as they can.
Well, they took away the home button, but now they've added the action button.
But I guarantee that action button becomes a soft. You think
that'll happen?
Touch-based, yes, I think so.
Okay.
Because anytime there's physical buttons, that's a failure point that they have to repair.
That's not good design philosophy, in my opinion.
But it's true, though. I mean,
from their point of view. From their point of view, yeah.
So I guarantee at some point they'll replace it.
Yeah.
But I can. You want an iPhone where there's like 85 buttons on the back of it, where you can just program
85, maybe just 80.
I know.
No, I mean you could have. Okay, so there is space for buttons on the back. There is space for more buttons on the side. There's space for buttons on the top and the bottom. I mean, think about it. For people who struggle with the touch screen, having those buttons is great.
But also think about it. If you have so many buttons, you can never hold the phone because I just pressed 72 buttons at once.
The phone just explodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see it. All right. Well,
so I'm excited about that action button. I think it's probably one of the bigger kind of cool things coming to the 15 Pro.
Yes. And Cory, did we talk about the A17 Pro Chip? Because I think that's the last thing which
we haven't. But again, as we said it when we talked about the 15, it's every year it's a new chip, faster processor.
Yeah.
I know the A17 Pro chip is faster and significantly faster and more efficient. The only thing that might come cool from that is better battery life. Everybody wants more battery life. That's cool. But at the end of the day, these things are so fast. Again, unless you're doing some crazy video editing or playing video games, I don't know how much you're going to see that improved speed on a daily basis. Not that I'm complaining. I mean, don't get me wrong. I continuously want a faster iPhone.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much on a daily basis you're going to see that benefit.
That's a good point. Like I said, it does handle modern AAA video games, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Personally, as a gamer, I can't imagine myself gaming on an iPhone.
Yeah,
especially if you're trying to use touchscreen controls, forget about it.
Sure.
Connecting a controller would be more feasible, but why bother? I mean, it's a small screen and the battery will run out quickly. Why not just play on your console? So whatever. It's changes for changes' sake. The action button, probably the most exciting thing. But Cory, why don't we wrap this up and we can say what we think about these phones, if people haven't already guessed.
That's all 4 iPhones and what is new about them. The question we want to answer then, is it worth upgrading?
No!
For me, you know what? I'm going to upgrade.
You are?
Yeah, I'll probably get the 15 Pro because...
hold on. What phone do you have at the moment?
14 Pro.
Okay, just so we know what you're upgrading from.
Yeah, I think that I'll probably get it. The Ultraband 2 I'm interested in. The action button I'm interested in. So I probably will do it, but my answer for most individuals, I think there's two things to answer. First, is it worth upgrading? Well, that's hard to answer because it depends what you're upgrading from.
True.
If you have last year's model, the 14, or even potentially the 13, I don't know that it's worth that upgrade. 13, probably more like it. I think every 2 years isn't a bad upgrade cycle, although I think you could stretch it past 2 years. If you have the 14, no, I don't think it's worth upgrading unless you're really excited. Some people just love to have cutting edge, and so obviously you're going to get it no matter what. But if you are happy with your current phone and what it's doing,
Yeah.
I don't see any reason for upgrading.
Cole,
at
you
this
make a
point.
very poor capitalist.
Well, here's the second question now.
Yeah.
Which model to get it? You've got the 4
Ooh.
across the board, right?
Yes.
So obviously, if cost is something that's important to you, and you have a kind of a budget that you're really sticking to, then I think the 15 and the 15 Plus is a pretty decent entry level kind of to get into on there. If you have more funds to spend, then I think going up to the 15 Pro is probably a good idea, again, to get that action button if that's really kind of interests you. Size of screen, well, that's gonna really come down to, I don't wanna just say it's gonna come down to your vision. Low vision users, I do think probably benefit from the Plus and the Pro Max, but I don't think it's just that. I know a number of people that are voiceover users that really do enjoy that larger phone. It gives you a little better battery life because it's got a bigger battery, but
Makes sense.
all in all, I think the 15 and 15 Pro are probably good options if you're going to pick between the 4.
Makes sense to me.
Luke, what are you going to do? You going to upgrade at all?
Absolutely not.
What are you at now?
iPhone 12, baby.
Okay, and you went from the 8.
Yeah.
You had the 8 before that, right?
Yeah. So here's what I do on my phone.
Yeah.
GPS.
Check.
It's very necessary. Podcasts.
Check.
Watch YouTube.
Check.
Go on the internet.
Okay.
Phone calls.
Okay.
Messages.
Okay.
And Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, so the 3GS we talked about earlier, I could bring
Perfect
for you because
for
I'm
me.
pretty sure it's in. Although was GPS? Yeah, I think there was GPS.
Probably.
On that, but
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm not a normal user case. I don't have a ton of apps, you know. I'm not mostly interested in that stuff. I mostly want to use my phone less rather than more. Will I be upgrading? Absolutely not. This phone that I'm using at the moment is so much better than the iPhone 8 that I had before.
Sure.
I can imagine
You're
myself
happy.
using the iPhone 12 for a long time.
Yeah.
Until basically it's dead. That's how I like to use my technology.
Yeah.
So I absolutely will not be upgrading. I actually find it kind of hilarious, something that you said.
What's that?
So you basically said the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus will be reasonable choices, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, the compute power in those phones,
I know.
compared to like, I know this is a cliche, but like we think about the rocket that took people to the moon in '69. It's like these phones are like 1 billion times more powerful than that. I know, but that'll be a reasonable choice.
But I still get annoyed how long it takes for apps to open sometimes. So,
Well, this is a whole other issue. Like how,
yeah,
I mean,
sure.
think about booting up your computer before solid state drives.
Oh, yeah.
And you used to like press the button and you patiently wait while it started. And now if it doesn't start immediately.
It's broken.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
So times change.
In summary, I mean, I think these 4 phones are obviously just a small update from last year's. Every company needs to release new products every year. Do they need to release them every year? Absolutely not.
No.
But they are there. You're going to upgrade if you want to. Again, in summary, I think the 2 biggest features specifically for people who are blind and low vision is the action button and that ultra wideband 2 chip. Other than that, I don't see a lot of really cool benefit. But please use the comment section. Let us know why we are wrong. Let us know if you're gonna upgrade, and if so, why you're going to. And if not, let us know why you're not. Why are you happy? Are you happy with the phone you have? Also, go ahead and like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. It's quick for you, and it does a big benefit for us, and we appreciate that. We also stream live on YouTube every other Thursday. Our next one is October 5th, so you can join Luke and I for our Tech Connect live series, streamed here live on YouTube. Also, go check out our online AT resource if you want to learn more about assistive technology. That's at techconnect.vision-forward.org. You can also shoot us an email, techconnect@vision-forward.org. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.